Hello everyone, welcome back to Pandemonium for yet again our final tier list for PMGC. PMSL EMEA has finished off, and as you can tell with the handsome gentleman to my side, we got Blank here to break it all down and where you expect all these teams from EMEA to finish off in their run in PMGC. So to quickly get you guys caught up to speed, if you haven't watched the other episodes of this, he's going to place teams where he thinks their run is going to end. So for instance, if he thinks Brute Force is only going to make it to the grand finals and not get top 5, then he'll put them in grand finals. If he thinks Navi won't make it past league stage, he'll put them in league stage. That's how it's going to go. And Blank, first of all, thank you so much for doing this, man. Let's hit the ground running, though. League stage. EMEA, you got to cover all the entire year of it. You know all these teams inside and out. Who do you think is going to have their run end in the league stage?
Oh, dude, you're maybe giving me too much credit there. But I have watched all these teams the entire time. But yeah, well, let's start off with the first one, Brute Force. Now, question is about this team. Where could they land? Because this kind of squad, it's a squad that could be PMGC winners, but they could equally be down in league stage. I'm not exactly sure where to place this team because they are so streaky, Jason. But let's whack them in grand finals.
Okay. You seem pretty set there on that one. You built me up to be like, ooh, they could be top 5. They could be league stage. They could just not get visas and they would be not even existent. Okay. So for grand finals, okay, Brute Force, I respect it.
Well, I mean, it's a case of, do they go to the actual, are they PMGC winners or are they league stage? I thought I'd just put them in like an easy medium. I'm not quite willing to put them in top 5 yet because I'm probably wrong. So we'll drop them down to grand finals. Navi. All right. Let's have a think about this, Jason. Did you watch too many of the games?
No, unfortunately. I need to catch back up on them.
No, that's why I need to go over all this for you.
Lemon, my man. He's huge.
Yeah, he stole away the first 100 eliminations from Zadira on 77, which I was a bit sad about. I was sad about on stream. All right, I was sad about it because I'm generally a big fan of Zadira. But again, Lemon was playing with some really good players in that team with Default as well. I think Axe has really found himself a home there. Not quite to the mechanical level of everyone else, but we know that Axe has got a huge amount of experience.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'd probably give them a good old grand finals, honestly. I think Navi's a strong team. They fell off a little bit, but who knows?
I would be actually really happy to see Lemon and Co make it just because we got to cover Lemon in CSA in the spring season, and them and Hora would constantly hot drop each other. But when Lemon would win those hot drops, he would scream and get so energetic. It was honestly fantastic to see. But even Max called it. Lemon is going to be going to a better team for sure at some point in this year. And it ended up being Navi. So it's kind of a surprise. Yep. And honestly, super happy for him.
Yeah, it's probably the strongest Navi squad we've seen in a while. I mean, look, you'd have to look back like 4 years though.
I'm looking at like Kitsune.
Yeah, you'd have to look like 4 years back. But right now, kind of the strongest Navi team we've seen in quite some time. Because I do think that team way back when had a lot of time to develop, and now they're looking even better. I'd be direct on the other hand though. Let's look at Turkey.
I like how you're going a different route with this, because normally I would go from like the bottom to the top. You have to like, okay, who's make it to league stage only? But you're going just from left to right. I like it. Let's change things up.
I'm just doing it, in order. I'm keeping people guessing, like, where are they going to go next? Are they down at the bottom? Are they towards the top? Who am I going to piss off?
I might need to go re-record these because this I think way is so much better than the way I did it the first time.
So IWRX, questionable team. It's a weird one because Zedwolf is a really good player, and the rest of the squad around him very strong. And you got Kane on that squad as well. Swain all look very strong, but there was a time towards Spring Split where they just looked unstoppable. But that wasn't the case. And I think it was more of the fact that the lobby overall here in Fall has just leveled up in a big way. And IWRX wasn't able to quite find that success. And this is a tough one for me, Jason, because do I put them in league stage or do I put them in grand finals? And it really depends on how they do. Because with their fall off, I'm more tempted to put them in league stage. Here, just because I'd like them to prove me wrong. Okay. I'd like this to be a top 5 team, but I do think that between now and the PMGC, there's going to be a lot of pracking going on. There's going to be a lot of sorting out some of these calls and making sure they're in the right place at the right time, because it looked better towards the end of EMEA.
The one thing I do look at when it comes to them in particular is the fact that they got into PMWC and they placed 14th, whereas like other teams here haven't necessarily had that kind of experience. And because PMWC was the most competitive PMWC we've ever had, I'm curious what they've been able to do with that experience. But with them having to fall off and fall, like you're saying, that's kind of a disappointment, man.
It was. I think that's the best way to put it. It was a disappointment because I think there was really, really good team and they absolutely rolled everyone in spring, which is not the case here in fall, sadly. So yeah, I'd like to see them prove me wrong. If you're a Turkey fan or an IWRX fan, don't feel too bad about this. Been put in towards the league stage. I do think they can prove me wrong, but I'm waiting for that to happen. RCB. This is an interesting team. Funnily enough, there's like some really good players on that squad. Loxy made some incredible plays, and there was a week, like I think it was week 3, where they looked unbeatable towards the end. I think there was a 1v3 clutch for a chicken dinner, Jason, which was silly to say the least.
Pretty good.
Wild. 1v3 clutch just out on the mountains by Loxy with one of the most insane 180s on the S12K that I've seen in a long time. So this is a
I feel like you're building us up for a letdown here. I feel like you're going to put him in the lead stage after talking so highly of him.
They're not even going to get there. I'm going to give this team a top 5. Yeah, I'm going to give them top 5. No, we're on a top 5. I have hope for this team. I have a high hope for them. They didn't do amazing in finals, but I think that they were starting to find their edge, right? They're starting to find their edge. They were honing it. They're on the whetstone. They're on the grind. I think they can be a top 5 team.
That would be an amazing bounce back for Silas as well, in particular, considering the downfall at PMGC this last year.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Who do you think's doing the most work on that squad? Is it Loxy? Is it Wild? No, it's Silas a lot of times. Like, he is not that old man Silas at this point. I'm sorry, but he's not washed. He's really not washed. If anything, he's got better since his time on S2G, because he was sort of like the backline for S2G a lot of times. He was the point man, making the calls, playing that backstop role. But now he's really just making a lot of, I want to say weird calls, but they work out. Like occasionally he'll just wander away from his team and be like, I'm going to go take out a 3-man squad by myself. And it's like, okay, go off, King, I guess. And he does it. He absolutely does it. So yeah, I think RCB can definitely be in a top 5 situation. We'll see. Team Spirit. I think people have got a lot of hopes for this team. A lot of hopes from before, because they have been on a tumultuous journey throughout the entirety of their PUBG mobile career. It's been ups and downs, and it's hard to call this team ever. It's hard to call this team out ever, because they will just consistently put up points to where they're in the top 6. And you're like, Team Spirit's not doing great. Then you look at the leaderboard. Oh, Team Spirit's in 3rd place. Why does it feel like they're not doing great in game? They're just very good at keeping those points locked in. Now, do I want to put in a top 5?
I mean, right now you've got 3 teams make it to grand finals. So 3 out of the 16 at the moment is going to be from EMEA.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. It's crazy. But let's do it anyway. Let's put them in the top 5.
Top 5? I think with Team Spirit, thinking back to PMWC, did they even play PMWC? Because it didn't feel like it. I mean, the first 2 matches they played in the survival stage, they hot dropped and they died.
Yeah.
But I think they died. they died horribly. But I think one thing that we thought about for them in particular was, obviously with Kitsune coming to the team, now Matic coming to the team, it takes some like learning time to really work out how Kitsune wants to call within the roster, or how they're going to play things out, or how Kitsune can successfully play with someone playing that 1-3 role, whereas in his previous team, it didn't work out. Do you think they've had time to build up now? Obviously doing extremely well in fall. I mean, obviously you're putting in the top 5, so.
I mean, look, Matic and Kitsune have always been, it's been a bit of a weird combo where you just feel like 2 magnets pulling each other apart, like opposing at the moment. So it's been a weird one, because there has been these moments where you're like, what is Matic doing? Why is Kitsune doing the exact opposite of him? But I think that the word that I used a lot during the PMSL EMEA was maturity. And I think that's something that's definitely come into play with this team. They are so much more mature. Nomi, very serious. He was so happy to get the victory over in PMSL EMEA. He was crying on stage. I mean, fair play to him. He's been working to this point for such a long time, and there were tears of joy. And I think that for Matic, it was a classic Matic line of easy. That was the only line he gave to the interviewer, which is fair enough. But yeah, I think that team has grown together a lot. Effect looks really good. And I think that the difficulty for that team was they were all pulling each other in different directions. But now they've come together as a squad, as a group, and they look really, really strong, supporting one another. I think it's the first time in a while that I've seen Matic be the guy to help out his squad mates, to play that backstop role, to play more of the guardian role in the team, which is just something he doesn't generally do. It was like watching a very, very different Matic on stage. So I was super pleased with it. And I think for that reason, yeah, top 5. Let's see if the boys from Team Spirit can finally take it home.
Quick question as a side note. Nomi, best player in EMEA, yes or no?
It's a tough one. Is it? I think that is a tough one because it's on any given day he could be. But at the moment, I would say Zadira probably takes that right now. He's just so much more consistent and so much more useful to 77 so far. And I think if we pose the question like, is Nomi potential? Is Nomi's potential better than anyone else in that lobby? Yes, absolutely. I think his potential as a player is skywards. And I think some of the players are just much more consistent, and it felt like he was beating himself up a lot during those matches because he knew he could do better. But yeah, I do think his potential outweighs basically anyone else in PMSL EMEA. He's probably one of the greatest talents we've had from EMEA in a long, long time.
Okay. Well, speaking of great talents, we have another team with great talents, especially in the form of the only North American player I can ever be proud of, Coops with Twisted Minds.
The Coopinator, yeah, of course. I think this is a good team. It needs more time. It's a league stage team, sadly. I think that's a very quick pick for me to make, just because, not because I'm being mean, but because I think that team needs more time. You know, Doran, Lord, Robs, as well as Coops. They're all amazing players. But they have been thrown into this team together with little to no experience with one another other than Coops and Lord. And I think that it's going to take more time. And it did. I mean, from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to finals, they looked better each week, Jason.
Okay.
And I think that come next year, this would probably be a really fantastic team. And I hope, for Twisted Mind's sake, that they keep these players together going forward and they just keep pouring a little bit more resources into them, whether that's coaching, getting a psychologist on board, to just help them get better at the game as a team, because I think individually they're all very strong. But you're getting out of league stage, I think it's going to be tough as a team that's just formed together, but they've felt very well to get to this stage anyway.
Okay, well that leads us into 77.
Yeah, these guys are the winners of PMGC in my mind.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You sure? Because once I let go.
Yeah, lock that in.
Okay, it's locked in. 77 winning PMGC.
Yeah. Dude, they are so good. They are the only team at PMSL EMEA that had a good week from week 1, week 2, week 3. Right? There was no weeks where they let off at all. And it was astounding looking at their league ranking points going into the finals, just being like 17, 18, 19. Like these guys just haven't missed a beat throughout the entirety. I mean, yes, they didn't grab themselves the finals win, but I think when you're to PMGC, what you need more than anything else is consistency to make it through that league stage, to make it into the grand finals, and then continue to perform. And I think that they can absolutely pop off on any given day. So I think that's something that a lot of teams will struggle with going into PMGC finals, is maybe having a bad day 1 and that kind of ruins your streak. But I think for 77, they can just have good games all the way through. And looking at some of the other teams from the other regions, there are some teams that excite me, but not quite as much as 77 at the moment.
Okay. Well, right now we've got 5 teams from EMEA make it into the grand final. So 5 out of our 16. We still have 3 teams left to go. We got Virtus Pro next.
Yeah.
You got them.
So Virtus Pro, that's a league stage for me, unfortunately. I think Virtus Pro, on the complete flip side of things, they're too inconsistent. Some days they'll absolutely pop off and do very, very well. And I think that we saw this weakness hit them hard in the finals, where it was like they were taking these wide splits that were working out from before, but they were the context wasn't quite there for them, where the circles were coming their way and they had a lot of space to work with. So they took a wide split. The circle didn't go their way. They still took this wide split and they got taken out because of it. I think they're still adapting. They're still learning, and they're a very good team. But I don't think they're quite grand finals ready just yet.
Kind of sounded similar to Alliance at PMWC. We're in the league stage. They did extremely well with those splits because of the zone, and then obviously it didn't work out for them later on. Weird for me to say, and I know Max and I talked about this, Zeus An EMEA instead of a Mongolian team. Where do you kind of put this team?
It's weird, right? I think Zeus, wow, what an improvement throughout the entirety of their weeks. I can't quite believe that they were able to do what they did. In terms of just performance, it sort of came out of nowhere. I still think they're an underdog team, though, and I'm willing to bet that they'll probably not make it out of league stage. And I think that right now they are one of the rising stars teams out of a lot of squads. In terms of new development, new talent, they certainly have it. Eren is a fantastic player on that squad. I think they need a little bit more experience.
Would you maybe look at them as similar to like Death Wolves, Twisted Minds, Brazil? Because I in my mind, that team was the rookie team of the year because they came out of nowhere and started to show what they could do.
Yeah, I feel bad for that team, man. I really do. Going into PMGC, it's a sad situation, but yeah, I'd probably put them in that similar category. And I think that the way it all panned out for Twisted Minds, I think they expected this team to make it in, and they didn't expect that team to make it in also. So they had that weird scenario. It was just a case of they proved everyone wrong, which is fair enough. But yeah, for Zeus over here, a very, very good team. And I was extremely proud of them throughout the entirety of PMSL EMEA. And I could only hope to see them do more. But maybe more into next year. Again, I'm willing to be surprised.
Okay. Well, we got one team left, Nigma Galaxy. I'm kind of guessing where you're going to put them, but I'm going to let you do
what
it.
Are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I think you're thinking league stage, to be honest.
I am thinking league stage.
If you're not putting Twisted Minds in grand finals, I don't see how you could put Nigma Galaxy in finals.
Yeah, no, I'm putting Nigma Galaxy also in league stage. Another team that has done well. They actually almost took the finals as well for themselves. It was a case of, I think it was a very, very weird situation where if they had eliminated the entirety of Team Spirit and got themselves the chicken dinner, they would have taken the title. But that surge of power came through with like some decent circles on their games. And again, that's what happens with the finals. You get some circles here and there and you do well with it. Not to say they played badly, because they didn't. They played fairly well. But if you look at the rest of the PMSL EMEA from week 2, week 1, week 3, it didn't look as phenomenal. And I think those pop-off moments came too few a time. So yeah, I'll probably put Nigma Galaxy in the league stage. And I'm pretty happy with that list. Actually, I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, I'm going to give you one last chance. Is there any team you want to swap, or are you set, fully locking this in?
Oh, really? I see.
It's easier once you see them where you placed them instead of just being, at the bottom where you don't know where you're going to put them just yet.
Yeah, I think maybe I'd switch IWN ranks up towards a grand finals angle. I think that's the only thing I'd really change.
Do you want to? Is that your final answer?
I could feel. I
would play the Jeopardy theme right now, but I think we're going to get copyrighted, so I can't.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm sure about whack him in grand finals. I think that's a reasonable one. I think I have put quite a few teams making it through to grand finals here, but EMEA is the best.
Thing is,
and also we've got like a nice little stairway.
It's true. I could tell you wanted to make the nice stairway in there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like every town I've talked to so far, whether it's Wolfie, Kai, or you, they always want to put more of their teams in grand finals and higher. Then they realize, okay, I have to be realistic about this. Do I expect half the teams in this lobby to be from one region? Well, probably not. But I mean, obviously with groups,
like a third. Yeah, like a third here.
Well, we do have groups coming up very soon. Actually, it's on the 31st. You guys are going to want to make sure to check this out. I believe we're starting out with Group Yellow, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
I could be mistaken. I honestly don't remember right now. But thank you again, Blank, for doing this with me. Make sure you guys check him out over on Twitter, Instagram, wherever he wants to be. And of course, make sure you guys check out the league stage of PMGC, kicking off on the 31st of October, and we'll see you then.